Do we have signal? Hi, let's try again. Hello and welcome to this week's masterclass. You guys have asked me to look at the difference between mentoring, coaching and consulting. You've also asked me to have a look at thoughts, other people's thoughts and behaviours and the way they communicate with you and how they impact on you and your success and why that matters and what you can do to protect yourself from those things. And we're going to look in that in more detail. I'm actually going to share some case studies with you so you can understand how serious that can really be on your success. I actually shared in the week a little example of that for you. So as normal, grab yourself a pen and paper. I don't know why I'm showing you that. That's like obvious. This is what pen and paper looks like. It's a good idea to make notes as you go because this is an hour's masterclass so that you write down the ideas as you go along. Now, as with any coaching session, the idea is that we have lots of ideas come out and then by the end of the hour, you will work out one or two things that you're going to put into action over the course of the next week. You're not going to do everything that we talk about within this session. You're going to do one or two things effectively, consistently and well over the course of the next week. Okay. The other ideas that you come up with, that's why we have our pen and paper to hand, are things that you are going to put down on paper and have to hand as what I like to call back burners. Now these are things that might be not right for now because they don't fit into your plans, into the big things. In previous weeks we've talked about your 1, 3 and 5 year goals and how things fit in. In fact, somebody phoned up yesterday and said that they were looking to do a big event and I said that's great, fantastic. But how does that fit into your 1, 3 and 5 year goals? And as we chatted, they realised that it didn't fit in at all. And if anything, it was actually deviating them away and taking away their focus. So it's really important that we don't lose focus with these masterclasses. And that's why pen and paper is so important because it'll help you keep that focus there. So I think let's start at the beginning because that's a nice traditional place to start. And I'll start by talking about the first question that's been posed to me. What is the difference between a mentor or a coach or a consultant? Well, I think for me, I get quite frustrated by this because I've been a coach for many years and I can't consider myself a coach because I actually went and trained to become a coach. Now, what's the big deal? Anyone can, currently in the UK, anyone can describe themselves as a coach. No issue, you might say. Well, I have a big issue with this because if someone is being coached, they are not being told what to do. If, for instance, I was to sit with somebody and say to you, right, throw that piece of paper into the bin. And they throw the piece of paper into the bin. Now, if I was to say to them, right, I want you to throw that piece of paper into the bin, but this time I want you to throw it a bit higher. How does that feel? What happens this time? Right, now throw it to the right a bit. Now throw it to the left a bit. That's not coaching. I'm directing them. I'm telling them what to do. That's not a coach. A coach is someone that enables someone to find their own way forward. A coach, in its most basic format, is someone that moves someone from one position forward, you know, like a coach, like a bus, a thing that physically moves that person forward. So the first thing a coach does is it doesn't tell someone what to do. Now that takes years and years and years of skill to learn that. And it's not a case of just being able to bring that out in people and have the ability to talk in a nice way. There's actual techniques and skill taught to you to be able to do that. And that involves learning certain techniques in communication. So for instance, if I was coaching someone how to get a piece of paper into the bin, I wouldn't be saying throw it a bit higher, throw it to the left, throw it to the right. I would be saying, what did you notice about that when you threw it in the bin that time? What was different about that throw to the throw before? It is a very, very different conversation to any other conversation you'll have anywhere else on the planet. Coaching is a very, very powerful conversation. One of the things that when I first trained as a coach, as exciting as it was, and it really is very exciting. And it's this thing when you realise that actually this is really powerful. It's also, wow, this is really powerful, but it's also, oh my God, this is really powerful, because you realise you're inside somebody's head. And it's that really, wow, this is so exciting, but it's also that, oh my God, I'm inside somebody's head. You know, I have a big responsibility here. And I think when you first train as a coach, that's quite, well, it's really scary. That realisation that you've got a big responsibility here. So coaching is a very different conversation to any other conversation you'll have with anyone else in the planet. A mentor, on the other hand, is someone who's got the skill in that area. So if I'm coaching somebody on something, I am enabling that person to learn how to do it according to their own values, their beliefs, and the human they are on this planet. Now, if I was to mentor that person onto how to have a more successful business, I would be bringing my own experiences and my own skills and my own beliefs to the table. So quite often when I'm coaching somebody, I will actually say to them, okay, would you mind if I share with you my opinion on this? You know, as a coach, you never give your own viewpoint unless you tell someone you're going to be giving your own viewpoint. I often say to them, I give them the visual thing and say, okay guys, is it all right if I take my business coach hat off for the moment and share with you some ideas, especially if they get really stuck and they can't think of how to grow their business, or they're completely bamboozled on what's the best course of action for growing their business or a marketing strategy. So that's when I would, instead of asking them and coaching them to find the solutions, I'd actually take the business coach hat off and consult or mentor them. Now, if I'm consulting them, I'm using my skills, as in what I know, and telling them ideas. I'm giving them my consultancy, my skills in that. And if I mentor them, I'm again using my skills, my knowledge of how that could work for them. Does this start to share with you how mentoring, consultancy, and coaching are very different? So I could coach, and I have. I've coached people in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different professions. It's amazing how many businesses and different industries I've worked in, and I don't need to know anything about that business, because I'm not there to consult, I'm not there to mentor them. I am there to enable that owner of that company to move forward, to coach that company into a forward motion. Okay, this is the most basic format of how coaching works. Okay. Could I mentor all of those companies? No. Could I consult all of those companies? Possibly I could consult a lot of them, but not all of them. Does that help you understand how these three things get so mashed up together, and it gets really frustrating because they are not the same, they are very different. At the start of this year, I was looking for a new coach for myself. And then I realised that I actually didn't need a coach. Where I was in my business development, what I needed for myself was a mentor. And I realised that in actual fact, I was really kicking myself. I know all these amazing people. I was like, why can't I find the right coach for me? I know these amazing people, but what conversation I had, I couldn't find that person that I could connect with on that level that I knew would really kick my butt and move me in the right direction for my company. Then I had this eureka moment with this business owner who said, Mandy, you don't need a coach. There is no one on the planet that can kick your ass better than you can. You need a mentor. And they were exactly right. I don't need anyone to kick my butt. I need a mentor, somebody I can bounce ideas off of. And okay, that's what a coach will do. A coach will enable you to bounce ideas, enable you to think things in a different light, non-judgmentally. That's something that that will lead nicely into what we're going to talk about today. Non-judgmental. There's many different styles of coaching. That's something else to be aware of. So the action coach end of things, that's more directional. I'm not a great expert on action coaching, and I've heard some fantastic stories about action coaching and some not good stories. But anyone that says that they've learned to be a coach in 2 days, steer clear. Don't touch with a barge pole. I took over 6 months to actually physically do the course, and then 60 case studies, and it took years. And just ask your coach what they're currently reading, and if they've not got at least 2 or 3 books on the go and can't tell you at least this person and that person they're learning from, then I would probably steer clear of that course, because you want somebody who is really always looking to learn and strive to learn more, someone who's really interested in self-development and personal development. So I hope that gives you a little bit of a taste of why I get on my high horse about coaching, consultancy and mentoring, because there's so many people set themselves up and say, I'm a coach. No, you're not. You're mentoring or you're consulting. You are not a coach. It takes a lot of years to coach somebody, to the point that I will come back off of my holiday where I've not coached for 3 weeks, and I'll reread a coaching book just because I want to always have the very best skills in my mind. You know, it is a powerful tool. This is fantastic, Mandy. Really helpful. Was asking about this last night. Dee, if you've got any questions you want to ask about this, please feel free. It's something I get really on my high horse about, because it's very frustrating that the industry isn't regulated, and it really should be regulated. It's a bit like web designers. They get frustrated with their industry. Anybody can set up and be a web designer. I know I talked about Graham last week. He's going to think I've got the hots for him. But him and another gentleman were talking on a group about digital marketing. It's another industry that needs regulating, because as small business owners, you've got limited wonga in your pocket, and we don't want to see it but getting wasted. We want a good ROI, return on your investment, and if you're going to invest in something, we want to see that get invested well. And as long as the industry isn't regulated, there's a chance you're going to be spending your money with somebody that's going to have you over. And I hate that. That's why I give an hour once a week, because I want to showcase to you that I'm never going to do that to you guys. And also, the other thought point is I never have a minimum spend. I never say to people, you need to sign up to this many sessions. That's ridiculous, because one person could sit here in my, currently my dining room, but that means there's lots of space. But, you know, one person could sit with me and need 2 or 3 sessions to really nail something, and another person in 1 hour can get it. Or another person could say, do you know what, I need to work alongside you for 6 months. You know, it's horses for courses. So if there's someone says to you, you're going to need to sign up for a minimum session and you need my platinum course and all the rest of it, nah. I mean, I can fix the fear of public speaking in one session, get people picking up the telephone in 1 session, and making sales in 1 session. So you need to go and find coaches who are genuine and can do that. But again, that doesn't mean to say a consultant can't do that, but they're going to share skill set and mindset, but they're going to be telling you stuff rather enabling you to move forward by thinking it for yourself. Because a coach will always be working with what you're thinking, which is what we're going to lead on to now. But Dee, if you've got any questions about what we just talked about, please feel free to post them and I will answer them live. The thing about this masterclass is it's always real time. It's all about what you personally want answered here and now in this hour. So that kind of leads on nicely, because I love, I'm so excited about coaching, is no 2 sessions. I could see all week people dealing with a fear of picking up the phone, right? And not 1 session will be the same. Yes, their underlying issues will be around confidence and their fears and those beliefs that they have, but every single session will be completely different, because you're all completely different. Every single person on this planet is different, and that's what makes it so amazing. Coaching enables you to go really deep down and understand what's going on in your head and ticking, that makes you think what your level of success you're getting is what you deserve. And so what I want to do today is I want to look at one of those things that I see that really impacts, excuse me, someone's talking on my screen, that really impacts on success. And it's one of those things that people kind of come to me and say, I want to nail this and I want to nail that, but nobody has ever picked up the phone and says, Mandy, I want to nail what people are saying to me and how it impacts on my success, because what other people say sticks around in my head for weeks on end, and I just play it over in my head time and time again, and I know it impacts on my success. Nobody ever comes to me and says that, ever. However, the point is, more than one occasion, I have been able to see, and the client has been able to go, oh, I can't believe I let this happen. So I am going to sit here now and I'm going to share with you a few tricks and a few tools so that you can stop those big bad and evil voices sticking around in your head and hurting your success. So if you've got any questions or any thoughts that you want to share on this, please feel free to do so. And I'm going to have a sip of water, because a hydrated brain is a happy brain. So this came up because somebody had said something to me in a private message earlier and late last week about how they realised that they procrastinated in certain areas of their business, and it was because they felt they weren't very good at these things, and then they realised that it was because someone had said they weren't very good at these things. Okay, so we've all got those things in business and in life that we don't think we're very good at, haven't we? And you might have heard the thing where you can overrule that. You can change that just by starting to say, instead of saying, oh, I'm no good at numbers or I'm no good at IT, you can change that by having a new thought in your head that says, I can learn to be good at numbers. I am good at spelling. I am good at IT. I love networking. I adore public speaking. You can change that just by starting with a thought. So for those of you out there who have got an absolute petrified fear of public speaking, you're going, no, Mandy, that'll never work, because I'll still walk into the room and still be going, oh my God, I'm petrified. I can't do this. And you'll be standing there going, I love public speaking. Yeah. Doesn't matter, because you start with a thought that says, I love public speaking, I really do. But just by having that thought, your brain is working a different way. Okay, so you write it down, you start to think, I'm aware that I have this thought in my head that says that I hate this thing, right? Just start with that, becoming aware of it. That can be enough. But this person realised that it wasn't an internal one, it was an external one. So they realised that when they was in certain environments, certain people had a habit of impacting on their day. So this person realised that they went to a certain networking group. Obviously, that would never happen at the Businesswoman's Network, and if it ever does, do tell me or one of my coordinators, and we'll help you get it fixed, because I don't ever want the BWN book to be clicky at all, ever. It has to be welcoming for everybody. So this person walked into a networking event and didn't feel comfortable, and she realised that it was always the same person that kind of made them feel about that big. Okay, so it kind of made them feel rough, and then it impacted on the way they networked, and then it impacted on the way they spoke, and then it kind of really had a knock-on effect. Now, I call this a negative spiral. So it starts here with that one thing, okay? So you could say it actually starts with that person, doesn't it? You could say it starts with that person who they meet and they don't get on with, and they're not very nice to them, and then that makes them feel bad and they don't feel good about themselves, and then that leads to them having a bad networking event, and then they don't speak very well, and then they don't pick up any business, so they don't feel very good about that networking event, and so it kind of escalates down. You could say it started with that person, but it didn't start with that person. It started with what that person chose to think about that person. Okay, so we don't have any control. As horrible as it is, we have no control over the other people on this planet. But what you can have control of, and I hope this lady gets to watch this later, you can have complete control over what's going on in your head. And sometimes that's really hard to grasp. I know that's hard to grasp. For someone who gets trapped in the house a lot and sits around going, ow, I know that's really hard to accept and grasp, that no matter how crappy life is, I can control my head. But you can, okay? So you can't control what other people are doing, you can't control what other people are saying, but you can control what you think about that. So I would say to this person, first of all, What would you choose to think? So, and a really powerful example of this is, first of all, she could choose to really play out that negative spiral and see how bad it could get. So if she continued to go just to that networking event and this person always made them feel bad, could it get to the stage where she had no business and no sales, all because this one person was there? Now that's crazy, isn't it? That's ridiculous. That's an impossible scenario. It couldn't happen. But by thinking of the worst case scenario, you can start to make it feel bigger and escalate it and make it feel really ridiculous. And by doing that, you make yourself think, I'm letting one person's thoughts impact my business success. That's ridiculous. I'm not standing for that. You can force yourself to say, no, I'm not doing this. I put my foot down and I'm not standing for that person in my head anymore. Not from this day forward. No. That might be enough for you. On the other hand, you might be a far more delicate person. I'm quite kick butt. You know that. I like it. Slap, bang, let's get out of here kind of way. You might not be that kind of person. You might need something far more delicate than that. In which case, you might need to reconciliate with that person. Unfortunately, you can't be best mates with everyone on the planet. Fact, there's billions of us on this planet, and you are not going to get on with everyone. But what about if you could imagine that you did? What about if you could imagine that you were getting on with everyone? It's a really harsh fact, right? But you're just not that important. Nor am I. Nor's Max the dog. None of us are that important. Well, actually, you are all incredibly important, like the most important people on the planet. Right now, the people watching this are the most important people ever to existed. But the reason I say you're not that important is because one of the reasons you allow that person to keep existing in your head and impacting on your business and your day is because you think you're that important. That's what you're thinking about. Sorry to tell you this, but they're very unlikely to be thinking about you. Shocker. Absolute shocker. That's like a news headlines, folks. They're not thinking about you. It's a fact. It's true, but they're not thinking about you. There's one to remember for you. So the next time you let someone hang out in your head with their negativity and their bad thoughts and their bad vibes, you aren't actually featuring in their heads at all. They're more likely to be thinking, oh, did I get the chicken out for tea and defrost that? Or, oh, look, so-and-so over there, I want to have a chat with him. You are not even featuring in their thoughts. That's really bumming, isn't it? That's really annoying and upsetting, but good, because now you can stop allowing that person to take up your precious time. There's another way of thinking about it. Another way to thinking about it is we have a finite amount of energy, don't we? Well, no, actually, some people seem to have boundless amounts of energy, and I know many of you think I do. But the point is, we have a certain amount of energy we can use each day. Say, for instance, that's how much energy you can use each day. And say, for instance, you're going to use that much for physical making money jobs today, and then you can use that much for family and fun things. And then you've got that much of your day you're going to use on letting other people hang out in your head and destroy your success rate. So say, for instance, you come up with a list of things that you're going to go and do over the next week so you're more successful, but you can't concentrate on them because you've decided to let some bad person hang out in your head instead. That's how it works. Your brain is a muscle after all, and by doing this, you're allowing your brain to concentrate on negativity instead of positivity. So is that another way to consider that you're going to stop allowing these negative thoughts and these negative people and these negative actions to hang out in your head? Another thing that enables these negative things to stick around is because of our environments. Now, I mentioned it briefly in my little quick update on Monday, but the point is our environments heavily impact on us. So I'm obviously live in a house that's not decorated to the way I want. But that's okay, because in my head, it's decorated beautifully, and that's fine by me. And it was a interesting post. I'm not sure who posted it, but someone posted a really short video where somebody comes up to the side of a taxi. I think it's in the US, and he just puts the camera in the door, and it just says on the screen something like, "You're not getting out alive. Everyone dies." And it made me think, right? Now, I want you to think about this question. I want you to actually stop what you're doing for a couple of seconds and think about this question. Because I thought about this question over the weekend because I knew I was going to be talking about this. And the question was, it said about, you're not getting out of this alive. You'll die, okay? And I thought about this. Do you know what? Hand on heart, if I drop down dead right now, I'd be all right with that. Okay, I'd be a bit miffed because I'm kind of loving life, and I love my husband and I love my kids and I adore my business, and it's so exciting who I get to work with. But I would be all right with that. I'm in a place where I love to be. I'm doing what I love to do. I am stonkingly happy with my life, and I don't allow anyone else's crap in my head. Do you reckon if you actually stopped for that minute, you could say the same? Because I wouldn't mind betting that if you could say yes, do you know what? As miffed off as I'd be of, oh bugger, I'm dead, how annoying. Oh, I haven't got an holiday booked. If you honestly could say, yeah, no, actually, I'm in a really good place. I love being me. I am a stonkily awesome person. I've got a great life. No bugger gets in my head. I wouldn't mind betting that those kind of people don't come into your head. You don't allow that kind of negativity in your head. The reason this negativity is allowed into our heads is because we're constantly second guessing if we're in the right place, doing the right things, living the right life. I wouldn't mind guessing that the kind of people that don't have that negativity are the kind of people that don't let those people, they don't look over their shoulder thinking, they got a nicer car than us. Don't worry about that stuff. Concentrate what matters to you. So, connected to what we're talking about here is worry about what matters to you, not what worries about matters to other people. When you're networking, and especially online networking, I had an amazing conversation with one of the 2017 speakers yesterday, and I was saying about, honestly, I don't like the word jealous, but I was kind of jealous because they're all going to be at this really super awesome event for some of the best speakers in the country, and I'd love to be at this event, but with my health, it's not practical. If I want to do my work, I can't go to things like that. And she said something to me, and she said, Mandy, you kind of think that everyone's life's perfect. And I said, no, it's just that you'd all be doing that. And she said, yeah, but we do have to kind of rest a bit. We cannot do all this all day, every day. And it made me go, oh yeah, they won't be just having fun all the time. They will have to have downtime. So I'm saying to you right now, be realistic about what you look at online. Be realistic about what you watch on the television. Because I noticed the choice of words they use in the news, in the weather. They are constantly trying to make us, hi Leela, they are constantly trying to make us feel a certain way. And if you don't like the tone of the way they're trying to make you feel in that television program, you got a choice. Turn it off. Change the channel. So be very aware of the environment you're choosing to be in and the people you're choosing to be around. So then the next thing I want to say about this is that leads you to, you know, I said I'd do a couple case studies here. So another case study is a gentleman I worked with. He had a similar situation where he was in an environment, he wanted to go to the top. And I'm pleased to say this guy is well on the way. He wanted to get to the top, but he was in an environment where, how do I say really cutthroat without saying really cutthroat, but highly cutthroat. And he needed some coaching because basically he was just too nice. He was just a really nice guy that he was a real corporate man who looked after the company's image first, which meant that the other guys that were not interested in that and that were just in it for themselves were treading over him to get to the top. And that meant that he ended up doing all the work and getting trod on, and his appraisals didn't work out so well, and it was, can't you be more like so-and-so? And he'd be like, be more like him? He's a git face that goes home early, and I'm the one that picks up the phone, and they never answer their phones. And it was constant stress. He got sent to Coventry. You know what that means when no one talks to you in the office? It was a horrendous situation. But this man was so conscientious of the company he worked for. It was not a nice situation this man's found himself in. You wouldn't have fixed this with mentoring or consultancy, because he was in a very dark place. That's the genius thing about coaching, is you don't tell someone how to fix it. You know, as a kid, the minute someone says, do this, you kind of go, whoa, who are you telling? That's the joy about coaching. You not tell someone how to do something, you're enabling them to find their answers. And this guy, we only worked together twice. And we enabled him how to keep their negativity out. Now, he was in an office of 20 people being really horrible to him. Really horrible. And I'm not going to go into the detail, but you can imagine a very corporate, cutthroat environment. Everyone wants to get to the top, and there's only very few opportunities, and no one was going to be nice to this guy. And he was more interested in looking after the company than himself, which was very admirable, but he was never going to get to the top with that attitude. What we did, now it may sound really silly, what we did was these are tools we can use as a coach, and I'll share one of them with you. It's a more gentle approach that might work with you, for you, if you have people coming into your head. So one of the things I did with this gentleman was we looked at what could he do to protect himself. And he kind of thought it was a bit daft. No, so one of the things I do is I tend to say to my clients, now imagine this is not a pen, this is a magic wand. And I can do anything. I can speed up time, slow down time, give you money, take money away. I can do anything you want. What would you do? And he said, I'd get rid of all the phones. And I said, just get rid of them? He said, no, I'd blow them up. And I said, okay, we'll blow them up. Now, I think in a previous session, what we've done is we've written down tons of ideas when we did the awesome list. Do you remember that? So when you write down tons of ideas, you're enabling your brain to come up with really good ideas. The good ideas tend to be about this far down the piece of paper, so that's why you have to really make your brain think. That's what the coach does, because you'll get to about here, and then your coach will come up with the really clever, cunning questions to get down deep into your brain and gets you right down here to the clever answers. So this guy's answers were down here, and this guy said, no, so I was writing down blow up the phone. I said, okay, what else could you do? And he said, no, actually, I'd make a big pile of the phones outside the front of the building, and I'd get a tank, and I'd go over the top of them with the tank. I was like, okay, what else could we do? Now, this is crazy talk, and anyone's watching this, you'll be going, Mandy, I want to protect myself from negative people so I achieve more and I'm more successful. What's blowing up phones with a tank got to do with this and my success? I don't know where to buy tanks from. Don't worry, it's fine. Because the crazy ideas enable your brain to think in a far more freer way. When we think in a more A to B way, oh, I need to do this and that will give me that. Our brains can't really, it doesn't enable our brains to think big enough. But when you think in a crazy way, your brain can come up with clever ideas. So this guy was really allowed to go for it. Cut a long story short, what we did was the guy was able to imagine he had, now do you remember the Ready Brek Glow? Who else? Come on, put your hands up. I'm the only one that can actually physically put my hand up. But who else can give me the thumbs up and tell me they're from the 1970s and 80s and they did the Ready Brek Glow? Do you remember the Ready Brek Glow around the kids because they had their porridge in the mornings? Well, this guy, he imagined that he had this Ready Brek glow. Used to have your Ready Brek. So this guy, he imagined he had this Ready Brek glow around his body, so that when he got into the office, he had this physical armour that protected him from that negativity. It couldn't physically get to him. It would bounce straight back off. And as we talked about it, he said, actually, as a kid, I really liked the superheroes. Actually, when I coached him, it was quite a while ago. So back then it wasn't cool. Like Marvel are like, you wanted to have the warmth. Oh, I just liked it because Mum used to put honey on top. Yeah. But yeah, back then superheroes weren't that cool, but like superheroes are seriously cool. So we can talk about superheroes and not look nerdy anymore. Actually, even nerds are cool now, aren't they? Super geek and everything. It's major cool. So this guy, he was able to power up his mindset by imagining he had this ready bright glow around him. Now, it still sounds stupid, doesn't it? But obviously he couldn't go to work and blow up all the phones. That probably wouldn't have done his next appraisal a great deal of good. But what he could do was we were able to come out of crazy zone, and I was able to explain to him, but share with him ideas, and said to him, so is it your responsibility to answer every phone in the office? No. And is it your responsibility? No. If you're agreeing to do this, what are you agreeing to not doing? And as he discovered, obviously if he is agreeing to answer every phone, then he's agreeing to a really lousy appraisal. He's agreeing to not getting his career success. What else are you agreeing to? Yeah, but if I don't answer all the phones, then they're going to keep hating me. Well, they hate you anyway. All right, but now I've got my ready brick growth, so I'm safe. Yes, you are safe. Cut a long story short, he stopped answering everyone's phones and only answered his own phone. The man is now in charge of 52 people, and quite a few of the people that used to be nasty to him, all with a change of the thought in his head. How cool is that? So if you find yourself having someone getting into, it is pretty awesome, isn't it? See, this is the power of mindset. And I could give you tons of stories like that. That's the difference between a coach, a mentor, and a consultant right there. Give me 5. But the point is, if you find yourself being impacted on by other people, especially if you're self-employed, especially if your business is less than 5 years old, it's highly likely you're going to have somebody saying to you, oh, are you still doing that? Is that working yet? Oh, God, I don't think I could have your patience and keep going. If you've got people like that, maybe you need to create that ready brick glow. Maybe you need to create something. You might see that I quite often have the clipboard with the superhero on it. Now, my husband gave me that when I was doing an event with Brenda Seaborn for the cancer ward at the hospital, and we did a charity thing. Now, that went in the back of the office cupboard and stayed there. But when I got ill and I wanted something to remind me I could get through tough things, that came out. And that's with me all the time. That's at every event. Things that remind me I can get through stuff. The other thing to remember about dealing with other people's negativity. Now, we have a habit of hanging on to things long after we should. Anyone's got a garage or a loft, it's probably full of crap you don't need. And your brain is probably about the same. I'm really sorry to tell you this. So, different to clearing out your garage or your loft, you don't have to clear the weekend to be able to clear out your brain, okay? So, if you're going to give me, how long we got? We got about 22 minutes left. I want you to have a little go of clearing a bit of that brain out for me. One of the reasons that people impact on our brains and our success rates. Let's just recap, shall we? So what happens is someone impacts on our thoughts and our actions with their thoughts and their words and their actions. And then what happens? It stops you from believing that you can achieve. It stops you from taking the big actions. It makes you take the smaller action. Instead of phoning up the national magazines and the national newspapers, as I would tell you to, you just phone up the little local newspaper because you're too nervous to phone up the national one, right? That's what it does. It makes you bring down how big a success you think you can be. That's what happens in your head. So, unlike clearing out the garage, which takes you a whole weekend and the kids moan and say, no, you can't get rid of that, oh, I want to hang on to that, and all that rubbish, what I want you to do is so that we can have the similar level of impact and success as that guy who's now looking after 52 members of staff and probably still rising higher, right, is I want you to have a bit of an emotional clear out in your head. Now, it's not going to be a big job. And the thing to remember, this isn't girly and kitten and knit and stuff. This is serious mindset work that will help you achieve more in your business. I've seen this work, and I've seen people sell more the very next hour. I'm talking about picking up the phone and saying, I want this, let's do business, in the next hour. So let's look at how we do this. One of the things that I see people hang on to for far too long is the wrong people. Oh man, do you want me to get rid of people? I do. You don't physically have to get rid of them, but I want you to get rid of them out of your head. Now, this isn't easy. I know this isn't easy because I've done it too, and it really isn't easy. But we have a habit of putting people on pedestals. Now, wasn't it lovely when your kids were little? If you've got children, you'll know this. When your kids were little, they put you on a pedestal, and you were very special. I was on a pedestal with my children. Actually, I'm still there for my daughter. She's 13 and she still thinks I'm amazing, and she's got me on that pedestal, and Mum, you're brilliant, and Mum, you're amazing, and right, you have to demote. Yep, there's my mentor right there. Yeah, go high 5K, woo! Right, my son has knocked me off that pedestal. Okay, now you've got to be a teenager here, guys. I need you to knock people off of the pedestals. I want you to imagine that every single person you know in your life is on a pedestal right now, all on the same height. Put every single person, say for instance, you go to a networking event, put every single person on a pedestal, right? And I want you to imagine, high five, my bestie. I want you to imagine that every single person is to get knocked off of their pedestal, including me. Knock every single person off of that pedestal, including your husband or your best friend, even the dog. Knock them all down. They are only allowed back on that pedestal, only allowed on that pedestal, if they prove their worth to you in the next week. I tell you, this is really scary, this is horrible, and you will find yourself going, oh, I want to put that person back up there, but they've been in my friends group for years. Yeah, but don't demote a few, Neela, demote a lot more. It is scary as hell, and it's horrible taking out dead work like that, but you suddenly realise that you have given so much energy and so much of your passion and your life and your time for people, and you realise that actually you would never get it back. Now, I'm not one for doing this, I give to you because then I'll get it back. If anyone watched Big Bang Theory, Sheldon gets really confused because he gives a present, and he will only give a present according to how much it's worth, and he goes and gets one that's worth the same value. I'm not like that. And I don't expect anything back from anybody. I'm not talking about, I'll be your friend if you give me some business. I'm not talking about that. But I'm talking about creating win-win relationships. What relationships should create this in your life? So you should have relationships whereby most of them should be like this, okay? And they should do this all the time. So for instance, Kay is a perfect example, and I'm sure she won't be mind mentioning this. So I know with Kay that Kay somehow came into my life like some kind of angel out of nowhere, okay? And Kay came into my life just when I needed someone. And I could say, okay, right now I need you. I do not want to be your business buddy, your coach, or whatever you need. I need you to be for me. And that's when I'm heavy on her and she's getting bugger all out of me. And I'm take. I'm getting everything and she's getting nothing. But I know that Kay can do exactly the same. She'll go, nope, I need you right now. And she can swipe back. But most of the time, that relationship's like that. Relationships need to level out here. And now if you've got relationships, but if you're the naughty angel, does that make me the good devil? So what you need to do is you need to get relationships and work out, only have pedestal relationships that are even like this. So, your children, your family, everybody will be relationships like this. Your kids aren't supposed to win-win or no deal, absolutely. And it is hard. I'm not going to underestimate how scary this is to do, but by doing this, you will create so much space in your head and in your life and in your mind so that you can achieve those big goals. Because by chucking out the people that actually just tend to always sap. They're just, do you know what I call them? I call them can you trusters. Oh, can you just? Oh, can you just? And you think, what about me? What about, I don't mind being here for you 24/7, but once in a while, it wouldn't be nice if. It is tough to let go. Let it go, let it go. That is the best-selling song for a reason there, Neela, and I think it's about time we all did a bit more of it. So the point is, I want you all to let it go. So get them off the pedestals, all right? Sorry, I promise not to sing again. Naughty Mandy. See, I'm definitely part of the devil and she's more of the angel. So get those relationships. And it wasn't by accident that I made Kay my mentor. I did ask her. It was a conversation. And I think that's something else. We, especially, it seems to be all women on here today, we are the world's worst at asking for what we want. If you want a mentor, ask for it. I actually sat and said to Kay, I'm looking for this in my life. I want to do this. And I think you would be a good mentor for me. And that's the conversation we actually had. You are allowed to ask for things in your life. Ask for them. If you don't want to take someone off a pedestal, then say that. Say, I just feel that our relationship is drifting in the wrong direction and I don't feel that you are respecting me and looking after me in the way that enables me to grow my business. It can be very hard. Remember that you are changing and you are growing and you are developing a new way of thinking and living. And for those around you, that can be difficult. They're looking at you and thinking, what's wrong with you? Why do you want to change? Okay, so remember, for them, it's a learning curve for them too. Maybe give them the chance to say, I didn't realise this meant so much to you. It's about self-respect. If you don't value yourself, then others won't either. Absolutely. See, that's why she's so brilliant. That's why she is so brilliant. Can't wait to have my website so that we can have two of us on here, and Kay could be one of my experts on here as well. So that's what I think is really important for us to look at today. The way other people impact on our success. So the last thing I'll say about this is look at what we're doing here today. We are connecting with the right kind of people who make us feel a very different thing from negative. They make us feel motivated. You come out of this call and you think, right, yes, I can do it. You are all after this call messaging me and saying, I'm going to do so-and-so and I'm going to phone this person and I'm going to make sure I do this. So I think it's really, really important that you work out where you spend your time and who you spend your time with. I think I see this so often that we just don't put enough value on spending quality time with the right people. Okay, please tell me that you spend quality time with the right people and not just, an hour or two networking once in a while. Actually putting in the effort to spend quality time with the right people. I have got 12 minutes left, so if there's any questions, please feel free to ask them. So just remember, the other thing that does, when you allow other people to hang out in your head, it really does cause you to procrastinate. It stops you from taking action because you're allowing someone else in your head to be saying, are you sure? Are you sure that's the best course of action? Do you know, you tried that before though. It didn't work particularly well before. Remember, if you were talking to, say, Kay, Neela, me, Ellie, would you get the same kind of response? Probably not. You'd probably get a far more constructive comment, wouldn't you? Ellie spends quality time with herself because she gets the best response and we rarely argue. Yeah, see, I spend quality time with myself, but, we argue like cat and dog. I'm always kicking my own butt. Now, one of the things I have been just sent, dealing with people who don't think you have a job because it's not a job. Dealing with people who don't think you have a job because it's not a job. It is a job, isn't it? But you've got people who don't think you have a job. Is that what you mean? I did see someone say that, they thought self-employment wasn't a real job. And I was a bit intrigued by that one because self-employment tends to... Okay, so dealing with people who don't think you have... So again, get them off the pedestal, Helen, and decide whether they deserve to even be there in the first place. Snorri dog. Get them off the pedestal. Uh-oh. My candle is killing my flowers. So what you're saying is dealing with people who don't think you have a job because it's not a job. Okay, so I would say, first of all, who cares what they think? Going back to what Kay said there, if you are confident about who you are and your business and what you do, then that doesn't matter what they say. So the first thing I would say is build up your ready brek. And the way you're going to build up that ready brek, that glow, that protection around yourself, is by knowing internally why you do what you do. So you do what you do because you love it, you're passionate about it, you're good at it, you make a difference to people, you're helping people grow their business. So with your company, you're taking on the social media areas that lots of companies are no good at, and you're helping them grow their businesses in areas that they can't do or they're too busy to do. So you're a valuable part of people's teams. So I can instantly, straight away, build your ready brek up for you. So it's like I'm building up the ready brek up from the bottom, but it's like the super villain. So I'm like a superhero building you up, and then the super villains are coming in and saying, yeah, but that's not a real job. You ought to go and get yourself a real job. And then you're allowing them to take away your ready brek, aren't you? And you're kind of zapping it off. They're like your kryptonite. So, and work out what will stop them from being your kryptonite, and that will come down to what you tell yourself, what you believe in here about yourself, first of all. So you build up your ready brek and then stop them from coming into your head. So again, maybe play that game like I did with that gentleman and work out how you keep them out of your head. What is it that you need to think about those people? Do they need to get knocked off their pedestals? And do you need to maybe physically not spend time with these people? If that's not an option, then how do you keep them emotionally out of your head? Okay, so maybe it's something that if you know you've got to spend time with them, there's something you can do that protects you inside your head, so that maybe you message us beforehand and say, oh gosh, I've got 4 hours with the non-believers. And then you can be sending us a message and you can just be, well, I'm just doing some accounts for some clients. Don't worry, you wouldn't understand. Maybe they don't understand. Maybe that's why they're like they are, because they don't even get it. My father is the world's worth, huge company. And he used to literally be halfway through dinner and up and go. Now if I answer my telephone, he's like, on the phone again. Yes, Dad, I run a business. Well, it's only 5 o'clock and my office is still open. Okay, but he used to get up and go at any time of day or night for his business. It's just people have a habit of forgetting. But I just love him as he is and just accept that is him, and I love what I do. I'm personally confident and comfortable with the way I run my business. I know that my customers respect me and they're not going to expect me to answer my call at 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. And so that keeps my ready brek protected. Happy to have a chat with you at an event, Helen, if that would help. But look at how you build up your internal confidence so that their thoughts don't impact on you. Because at the moment, they're impacting. I wouldn't mind guessing that they're impacting on your actions, because they're somewhere in your subconscious, they're impacting on what you think about your business as well. So I wouldn't mind setting you some personal homework. Look, someone's getting personalised homework. Woo, woo, personalised homework. Big Evil Mandy in action. Definitely the devil part of that relationship there, Kay. Personalised homework, Helen. I want you to define your definition of the perfect business. Not anyone else's, yours. What does my definition of the perfect business look like? So I know you've got 2 gorgeous kids. So I want you to be able to define big piece of paper and draw it, write it, magazines, cut out, however you want to do it. But define what your business looks like. Watch it. Keep laughing, I'll set you homework too. I mean it. Big evil Mandy mood coming on, right? So I would do that. I would set yourself the homework that you define your definition of the perfect business. So the next time you're with these people, in your head, it's all you can see is something that's so visual. You go, no, in my head is my perfect business, not you. I don't allow you in my head. For me, in the early days, it was a piece of paper about this big, and it had a vision board, just images of what my perfect business looked like. All right, watch it. There's lots of laughter on here. I'm going to set you all homework. I mean it. Yeah, come on, I'm on my website. Quick, can it be done by 5 o'clock? Right, so I think I've got 5 minutes. I'm literally got 5 minutes to very quickly look at something that Liz Leatherdale from Cultures to Classics has sent in. You are always welcome, if you can't make it, to post a question here or direct message me, or Liz on this occasion text it to me, so you're welcome to do that as well. And her question was, she's noticed that she's had a lot of people visit her page, but not all of them have liked her page. What can she do about that? Well, as I tell you every week, I'm not a social media expert, but I would say that's going to come down to, what do they find when they get there? Okay, and people, now this is a bit controversial, but you know me, I'm not particularly polite at the best of times, right? Now remember, I'm human as well, so I include myself in this, and I obviously include you too, but I'll pretend I don't include you. You have to remember that the human race is thick. We are thick. We are really, really stupid. Kay does design for a living, so she knows how thick we really are. We do not read things properly, we do not pay attention, we do not listen, we do not notice, we do not ever pay attention to what we're reading. So I'm very sorry, but as a human race, we are thick. So one of the things I would say, that the reason why people are going to your Facebook page and having a nosy round but not liking it is possibly because it doesn't say please like my page. So if that was something I was looking to do, is to increase my likes, which I have my own opinions on that, I'd probably change my image to say, great that you visited, please like my page, because we're thick, we don't pay attention. People who love the Businesswoman's Network and have been coming for 7 years still haven't signed up to the newsletter. I should add them. I really should add them to the newsletter. I really should. It's my ethos that we never will, and so I don't. But I just remind them that you need to join our newsletter. That's why the new website will be fantastic, because it's there as you come on straight to the website. Because we're thick, we don't read. I don't read things properly. People will be on our website talking to me on the telephone, and they'll say, "So when's the next event?" It's there, isn't it? Oh yeah. And what time's that? It says next to the date, doesn't it? Oh yeah, there it is. We don't read. So if you have got people visiting your page, it's a numbers game. Don't take it personally. I can have a look at Lizzie's page if she wants to give some advice. Absolutely, it is a numbers game. Absolutely, it's a numbers game. So I think personally it's a case of people are going through, having a nosy, but you got to remember as well, you don't want everyone liking your page. If they've come to your page and they've not liked it, they're not your customers. You know, keep engaging with them. If they've, say for instance, you've found them, they found you via a group that you're all chatting in, right? And they've been to your page and had a look, then if you keep talking in that group and engaging with them, then they'll go back and have another look and they'll keep talking to you. So you'll grow a conversation, you'll grow a relationship, and they'll stick around, and then they'll like your page. That's how you get business, by growing a relationship. If you just have people liking your page, that's not growing a business. You've just got likers on your page. And if that's what you want, you know, you can just do a like ladder. I read a great blog article yesterday, again reinforced my viewpoints on like ladders. They are pointless. It reinforced everything I've always thought about like ladders. The only thing a like ladder is good for is the person the like ladder's page it is on. Controversial, but true. I think it was on Mashable. I'll have a quick look, but I've got another call straight after this. But yeah, like ladders, all it does is give you likes from randoms. That's the equivalent of me putting in leaflets around Mersey Island. You know, I'd be canvassing 22,000 people, but of which half of them, you know, probably most of them don't own a business. So it's completely pointless. That's my view on that. So, yes, completely pointless. So that's another little rant. I seem to rant a lot recently. I do apologise about that. So, just to recap, dead on 2 o'clock. Today we've looked at the difference between mentoring, coaching and consultancy and why they are so different. A coach will enable you to overcome your fears. A consultant will try, but they won't have the skill a coach has got. A coach will call themselves a coach because they've learnt a hell of a lot of skills. NLP, CBT, CAT, psychology, transactional analysis. Easy for me to say. No, it's not. All sorts of stuff. And I'm still learning stuff. Biodynamic training, psychosomatic training. Oh, the list is long and endless. And I'm still learning endlessly. Okay, so that's what a coach is about. That's why it differs. Insultant. I didn't say that. I did not say that. I did not say that people from middle management take early retirement and set themselves up as coaches. I did not say that. No, bad Manny. No, never said that. Huh. So that's the first thing. Second thing is something I feel so powerfully about, and it's not girly, it's not kittens, it's not knitting. The fact is, you cannot control the actions and the words and what's going on in other people's heads, but you have absolute control of this thing. And as horrible as it is, and yes, there'll be crappy, horrible days when the cat vomits in your shoes and the phone won't work and the car doesn't start and things go wrong, but you still have control of this. Okay, so look at how you power that up. Remember the guy with blowing up his telephones. It seemed ridiculous, but he has 52 people working for him now. And that's going up. 52. It's going to take over the world. And that was just from thinking about Ready Brek and blowing up telephones. What will you do? That's so exciting. I can't hear what you will do. Can't wait to hear what you will do. So thank you so much for your time. And you all keep saying I make you laugh. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. So I look forward to seeing you next week. I do really hope to have very exciting news for you for Friday the 25th of November. Keep the date free because I have a very exclusive free opportunity for you. And if you can't stand to be away from me for a whole week, I know a load of you have been buying my book on Amazon. I'm happy to share the link with you as well. So I look forward to hopefully seeing you at the BWN in Ipswich tomorrow. I won't be at the Norwich one on Thursday, but obviously I will be at my event the following week. So thanks again, guys. Do feel free to post your homework so I know what your actions you tend to take, and do not let anyone on that pedestal until they have proven their worth, and that includes me. Love you guys. Have a great week. Bye-bye.